Hello, you beautiful beings. Rosie Glow here. How are you doing? I hope you are having a lovely Saturday. I am here to give you a little bit of an update on working energy, which is strong at the moment. And if you are new to me, please note that I channel divine grace. I don't know how to turn the notifications off. Pinging on my computer. Apologies, technology isn't my forte. And what I do is I work as a multidimensional world bridger and a starseed and soul activator, so that those of you who are here to help this planet's ascension can truly remember how to do that in the most graceful, joyful, and easy way. So if you like the sound of that and you are new to me, please do hit that subscribe button and the notifications or whatever it is that says when I'm live. And then you will know every time I'm here, because the transmissions that are coming through at the moment are super powerful. And I've been asked by my higher self, which is basically a collection of different starseed consciousness coming through, and I'll explain that in a moment, to keep offering activation codes through this channel, because we really need to remember that false evidence, false expectation, false emotion appearing real is very compelling on this plane. It can seem very real, and I've had a very real experience of that recently, on the basis that what can happen as we are awakening, especially if we have a big message that we feel we want to share with the world. And I want to say, those of you who are connecting to me are actually bringing in potentially information that has never been brought to this earth before, and we have to integrate it first before we can actually share it with others. But we are very much experiencing, for want of a better word, and I don't want to energize it, psychic attack on the astral plane. Now, if we didn't have shadow elements and fear elements still in our consciousness, that wouldn't affect us, right? But this is why we have to keep cleaning up our inner world and our energy field in order to be able to show up and not be scared of being seen in the darkness. Because on this material plane, in the third dimension, which is being dismantled, the fear matrix is still really doing its very best to keep the stronghold. And you know that, you know it whenever you turn the television or the radio on. And I had, as I said, a very real experience. I will explain a little bit more around that, about feeling like the world was ready in the mainstream collective to actually start to hear these messages, and then finding out very quickly that my guidance system was protecting me when I thought that something was actually going against me. And this is why I have a channeled message for you that came through last night. And I'm going to share that first of all, and then I'll talk around it. If you are new to me, you won't know yet that I offer new moon co-creation meditations. Hey, good to see you, beautiful. Please share. Anyone who's here, let me know. Yeah, I offer new moon co-creation meditations here on this channel. And then I have a private members area, my inner circle, which is for doing the deeper work with the full moon energy. And whenever the full moon falls close to when I actually normally teach my classes, my multidimensional yoga classes, I offer the two together. So actually tomorrow, Sunday, the 17th of October, I'm going to be offering my multidimensional yoga class and full moon meditation, well, full moon energy update and upgrade and StarSeed code activation together. And that's at 7:30 p.m. UK time, BST. That will be at 5 hours before, so I think that is 2:30 p.m. EST, and it is 11:30 a.m. PST. So if you catch this and this has already happened, you can always get the replay. And anytime you need to clear fear, any form of fear, it shows up as lower frequency emotions in your being, feelings in your being, when it feels like life is kind of going against you and you need to reset. This is why I want you to remember that you can always access that replay. And it's never just energy work, my friends. You know, I've spent 22 years as a yoga teacher, and I've been a coach for the last 7 years, and particularly working more now with this starseed codes and light language, and dare I call it healing, because I've always resisted that, because I believe we heal ourselves, but actually we're needing to work with higher vibrational beings to heal together. And so I always have teachers, I always have peers that I work with, and I always have students. So we're always masters and apprentices at the same time, and there is no shame in that. But we do need to reach out for that support. We need accountability. We need to be transparent. We need to have integrity so that we can access compassion, forgiveness, and discernment, which is how we're going to navigate through the fourth dimension of illusion. And the fourth dimension is characterized by the mind. We need to understand everything, and that's why this message is so important. Okay, so welcome, welcome, welcome. Please set your diaries for tomorrow. Let me share this message first, and then I'll go into a few more details about the full moon. The intention, the seeding intention for this full moon is I am the divine spark. That's it. But what was coming through for me last night is I am the miracle. And we are all miracles, but we need to understand what a miracle is. And it is a shift in perception. It is the ability to move beyond the realm of logic, where something magical can actually happen that doesn't fit our current narrative. It doesn't fit our current worldview. That's what a miracle really is, as I understand it. And as I'm saying this, I have a bit of a headache going on. So there's been interference going on for me today and yesterday. I don't know how you've been feeling, but there's been a lot of dream state work going on. And I have been literally crying out in my sleep, like screaming out in my sleep. And this is astral plane clearing. So any of you who are experiencing this, you don't need to fear. We are basically discovering our power in all levels of our being. But if you are experiencing physical ailments, your physical sensations, then please remember to say, return to sender. You are not welcome in my energy field. If there is any kind of psychic attack or energy attack, you don't need to fear it. It's kind of, there's a receptor cell for you. Otherwise, you wouldn't actually feel it. So there's a part of you that is fearful of that kind of thing, right? So we need to transmute it. And so we can send it back to source. We can send it back to sender with compassion. We could just say, you're not welcome in my energy field. And this is why your divine architecture is so important. And that is what I teach in the multidimensional yoga. That is my offering to you. Okay, I created this method. I am the creatress of it and the star salutation. And you can access that for free on my website, rosieglow.com. So there's no excuses. Okay, we have got all the tools we need. We just need to use them. All right, here's the message. Now, what I invite you to do is just take a moment, tune in if you can. Obviously, if you're driving, don't, but just put your hand on your heart, put another one on your solar plexus, breathe deep and listen in, because this will help to activate everything that you need activated. And just to say a little bit about who my guides are. So the different star constellations that are speaking through, my star families that are speaking through, are the Arcturians, the Andromedans, I've just been discovering this, Sirians, Pleiadians, the Lyrans, and there's also something coming through from Neptune as well. Apparently there are others. I've only started to really become aware of this recently. A lot of us starseeds are dropping dependencies big time at the moment. So if you're suddenly finding you don't want alcohol, you don't want sugar, you don't want to smoke, you don't want to partake in your usual games, that's because you're purifying your energy so you can be really clear about what is coming through you and decide with discernment whether you want it to come through you. So I've always said I channel divine grace. Divine grace is the power of revelation. I've discovered now that that soft pink flame is the Arcturian grandmothers coming through me, but there are lots of others coming through as well. And as I've been starting to speak light language for a while, I was like, what on earth is this? But it's different dialects all in one. It's not Lyran, it's not Andromedan, it's not, I've got Orion coming through as well. It's all of them. They're all coming through because we are synthesizing all of our wisdom and knowledge from all of our different lifetimes. And for someone who's stuck in their left brain, they're going to think this is completely bonkers, and that's okay. That's fine. You don't have to be here, all right? If this doesn't resonate with you, that's fine. I just want to say that from my point of view, I come from a pure heart, and I know if this resonates, it's going to open you up in a way that helps you to feel safe and grounded and secure on this earth plane. If it's not how you're feeling, then just turn it off. It's not for you, okay? Right, let's go. So the full moon in Aries message that came through last night, specifically, if you want to know the time, you can look it up, 4:38 a.m. Where are you still holding the vibration of fear? What are you scared is going to happen? Where do you feel you are wrong or you have done something wrong? Or in your innocence, you contributed to bad things happening? As children of the divine, we are innocent. We have no malice. We have no nefarious or malicious intent. This makes us shine so brightly. And so there is a fear of shining brightly in the dark. Everything that happens as we set powerful intentions in motion is by design. When you have an intention you have set, everything that happens afterwards is part of this. Nothing needs to be feared. So one of the things that came through that was really important for me to share with you is my springboard exercise. So any challenging emotion you feel, like judgment, jealousy, disappointment, indecision, dread, frustration, whatever it is that you feel that is lowering your vibe, I invite you just to get on your search engine and work out what the opposite is. Okay, like what is the opposite of this particular feeling or emotion? And start to, that's how you create the bridge between 3D and 5D. You've got to use your mind. You've got to search, okay, for what the opposite feeling vibration is so that you can start to align with it, because nothing is bad. All right. We make the judgment of whether something is bad or not. It's just, does this help me to expand, or is this taking me into a place where old stories are coming up? More on that in a moment. We fear our own power. We have been told it is bad to be powerful, but the power of our imagination is the most powerful tool we have. It is the magical paintbrush that paints our world into creation, literally. What we focus on grows. This is where Abraham Hicks talks about anything you focus on for 17 seconds or more. Thank you to my teacher, Jeanette, for this. You start to get more of. It's like you're saying to the universe, more of this, please. Yeah. The universe always says yes. If you've seen Law of Attraction, The Secret, whatever you focus on, the universe says yes, more of that. So you have to make a decision, ultimately, not to energize what you don't want to energize. Be aware and then use this exercise to help bring in the frequencies you want. You're going to need to use your body to discharge the challenging emotions. That's why I have a Kali Kriya exercise that I offer through my coaching. I think there's a video on YouTube somewhere you'll be able to access. If you put Kali Kriya in, you'll find it on my channel. And also, what else? You've got to discharge it through shaking, sounding, breathing through your feet, letting it go, because your earth chakra will transmute this energy for you. Okay, you don't need to judge it, you just don't want it in your energy field. So what we focus on grows, 70 seconds or more. Be disciplined, and if something happens unexpectedly that doesn't feel good, lean into it. What are the gifts it has to give you? What feelings and emotions does it bring up? These are yours to witness, to release, to bring from the darkness into the light. You bring love to them. Think about Rumi's poem about bringing all the guests to the table, everyone who knocks on your door, whether it's sadness, grief, anger. Bring them as a guest to the table. Welcome them in. Lean in. What you resist persists. Okay, we don't need resistance. We can't suppress anything. All right, it's going to come up. That's the old fearful way. All right, it's the patriarchal paradigm having a hissy fit. Right, so when you put your soul in control and something comes from out of nowhere, this is your higher self gifting you an opportunity. It might be something exciting. It might be something not desired. It might go from one way and then to the other. It is all preparation. It is all preparation to align you with the highest good of all, the very best. Bless every situation, whether you like it or not. What good can come of this? That's the question we ask, right? How can it be turned around to your advantage? We are not here to suffer. So if you are endlessly suffering, whatever your practice is, it's time to look at it again, fresh eyes. Is it serving you? Is it really giving you what you need? Are you stuck in a 4D tool thinking you're progressing? This is why working with teachers you trust is so important, and your non-physical guides, okay? Because otherwise, you're just going around in circles. I did it for 15 years. It's draining as. We are not here to suffer. Our logical mind, our conditioning will not accept anything without proof. And even when we do have proof, it still questions it, denies it, if it does not fit the established thinking, your established thinking or the established thinking in the collective. Think about what happened in the UK, right? You know, as an example around the whole C thing and around whether children and teenagers should be offered the jib jab thing, right? Right. All the science said no need. And yet our government, in its infinite wisdom, decided to overrule that because it knows best. Up until now, the narrative was we're following the science, we're following the science, we're following the science. But suddenly the science doesn't fit the narrative anymore. So they make everything fit their narrative. They'll shift it around. There'll be a reason why. We do this as well. This is externalizing what is internal. We make things fit our narrative. Whatever evidence is there, we will shift it to fit our narrative unless we are willing to move beyond the established thought and question, what else is possible? What is there more than this? What is in the infinite field of possibilities? And I learned the hard way. If you are dependent on substances, if you are dependent on self-medicating just to be able to be on this earth, you cannot really access the infinite field of possibilities. So remember, when things come out of nowhere, that is your soul, all right? But your soul is also going to protect you from anything that is not aligned with your highest good, your best interest. More of that in a minute. So you will be challenged and you will challenge yourself. All right. This is what we do. We test ourselves again and again and again so we can become masterful. And at times it will feel like things you want have been taken away from you. Pay attention. This is to prepare you for something even better. If you have aligned yourself with something and you've got excited and it's like, yay, things are happening for me, and then suddenly something disappears, right? Something better is going to come your way, but you have to process how you feel as a result of that disappearing. What wounding stories have come up for you again? What are the beliefs that have come up about yourself? What is being reflected to you by those you love that is triggering you, or those you don't love? This has to be processed before you can really have what you want in a form that is going to be best for you and everyone else around you, and you can have it in a way that is sustainable. Otherwise, we constantly play the wheel of fortune, which is the 3D, 4D karmic wheel. We don't need that anymore. That's not what we're doing. So you are, if I could actually read my own writing, you are always being further aligned. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. Believe in yourself. Believe in your best intentions. Believe in your innocence. Believe in your goodness and best intentions. Okay, this is so important. I'm going to say it again. Believe in yourself. Believe in your best intentions. Believe in your innocence. Believe in your intent, your highest intent, your inherent goodness, and your best intentions. Divine architecture is essential. It allows you to shine and be protected in the darkness. That's what I teach in my multidimensional yoga. It's what you can learn some of in the Star Salutation Prosperity Practice on my website, which is being renamed the Divine Prosperity Legacy, I believe. I can't remember. Sometimes we need to experience tough moments that prepare us to lead other people through them. You only ever teach what you are here to learn, all right? So we teach what we are here to learn. That is very, 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 very important. You're never going to pass anything on that you haven't actually been through yourself. So pay attention to your frustrations, your fears and judgments about yourself and others, but do not dwell on them. Yeah, like being in the loop of dwelling is like real self-sabotage. It's like putting your hand in the fire again and again, going, oh, that hurts. Come on. All right. You know it's there. It's not yours. It's something in your energy field to deal with. And so you bring it to the light. And it's like potty training. It's like learning any new habit. You're going to have to practice the discipline of repeatedly choosing the new thing. Okay, this is like changing a habit as well. And particularly for those of you who have poor boundaries, I'm really glad you're enjoying that. Thank you. Particularly those of you who have poor boundaries and suddenly you decide to defend yourself and to put a boundary up. And then it feels like people keep testing that boundary. And you're like, how dare they have the audacity to keep challenging me? Do they know how hard it was for me to say no in the first place? It's like, yeah, they do. That's why they're testing you until it becomes really easy for you to say no. So remember, when you first come out of a pattern or a habit and you see it in others, it's going to trigger you to fuck, all right? But there'll come a point when it doesn't. You'll be able to see it. I'm going to talk about narcissism for a moment because You know, I have had narcissism in my energy field. I came from, and it's really hard to accept this. My mum had a lot of unmet needs, so she was quite narcissistic, and so was my grandmother. So grandmother, mother, daughter healing is so important for all of us, as is grandfather, father, and son, right? We have to do all three of these, and then we can work with the other generations. So of course, you know, initially I can't even see narcissism in me or in others. I don't know what it means. Then I start to process it in myself and I start to see it in others. It's easy to judge. I want to push away. And then it's like, oh yeah, that wound. I see you. You'll grow through it. I'm not going to point the finger at you. I'm just going to help shed light on this so you can see it in your own time. Because once we see our behavior, we see our patterns, we often go into tremendous shame, because we know we've inflicted the same wound on others. And I'm actually just going to say this now. I'm not saying much about it, but this Halloween, I'm going to be offering a very deep ancestral healing. Okay, our ancestors, when they pass over, they know how they contributed to our current suffering, and they become our guides. They are with us to help us to overcome the legacy they left behind without meaning to. Right? I see the damage I put into my own daughter. I'm devastated. It's my journey to support her, to heal through it, to witness her perfection, and to help her. Well, it's her journey and her free will, which she does, but ultimately to forgive myself, to forgive my ancestors, so that she doesn't carry this on herself. And our ancestors really want to help us. All right. So we're going to do that Halloween, just letting you know. More will come. I'm not going to say too much more about it because it ain't just about the ancestors. It's about our star families and our guides and our teachers as well. They are here to seed this light. And last Halloween, I downloaded the Sovereignty Prayer. I say all of this, right? And it's like, it's hard for us to own just how powerful we are, but you've got to. You have your own unique gifts to offer this world. You have your own unique piece of the puzzle. You cannot play small. If I keep playing small, I am not going to get out there and seed star peace into the collective, which is my mission. I'm not the only one. There's loads of us, right? But I have to claim my part in it because I have this unique way of seeing things that no one else can see. It comes from all of my lifetimes, all of my soul growth. And if I don't own it in this life, I will not be doing myself justice or anyone else here, because I promised I would do this. This is why I came. You all promised to offer your gifts to this world in the most graceful, joyful, and easy way. Every time you buy into the story, the fear story in the collective, you are basically doing yourself a huge injustice and going back down again, having to climb back up. So remember, the coexisting paradigms, third, fourth, fifth dimension, they're all at once here. There's so many higher dimensions as well. But if you want to stabilize in a higher frequency, you have to remember the stories seem real. What did I say before? Your most powerful tool is your imagination. So start to imagine into being the solution you want to see in this world. Don't keep focused on the problem, my friends. We all know what it is, right? Everyone who is awakening can see it. So let's move on from that. Where are we? Okay, pay attention to your frustrations, fears, and judgments about self and others, but do not dwell on them. They are there for you to witness, forgive, and integrate, so you are a more whole, fulfilled, and compassionate divine human. All right? You have to go through the shit, basically. You have to claim it, own it, and then you can help others do the same. So we teach what we most need to learn. What is for you will not go past you. No opportunity that seems amazing and then gets taken away from you is going to go past you if it is truly for you. Remember, not all that glitters is gold. More on that in a moment. So everything is necessary on the path along the way for you to fully accept your legacy, your gifts, and purpose. Claim your power back and turn self-sabotage into self-affirmation. So just so we're clear, what I'm saying about being able to clear the fear matrix from your energy field right now to access that divine spark is turn the negatives into positives. Own how you feel. You can't suppress it. You can't reject it. But allow yourself to remember these are stories, false evidence, false emotion, false expectation. I'm going to give you a story right now for you to understand how this worked in my life and what this message is in a way that will help you understand. So very recently, I ended up in a national paper in the UK, the Daily Mail, with my lovely husband. We were featured in an article about starseeds, and I was super excited. It came out of nowhere. My lovely PR queen, Brenda Gabriel, put me forward, and she's coached me before. It was really exciting. We ended up having a lovely time. Now, out of that came an opportunity for a TV show, to be on a small segment of a national TV show. And that was very exciting. Now, how am I going to put this to everybody? I was excited about it and started to feel, wow, the mainstream is really ready for this starseed message now. Like, it was really like, yay, amazing. But what ended up happening everything was ready to go. And I started to have nightmares. Okay, I started to have these dreams that were leaving me screaming out in the night. And in particular, I had a dream where the long and short of it is, the message was that basically what seemed like a really good opportunity that was going to take some work to be able to move through the different levels ended up being something that was going to imprison me and be unhelpful in the long run, and actually a way of keeping me in a smaller space. So a place where I can't really speak my truth. I can't really put it out there in a way that is going to be authentic. Now, what ended up happening was that we were in the 11th hour ready to make this all happen. And at the very last minute, it didn't happen. And there was a lot of disappointment around this, both through the people that were trying to make it happen and for me too. And basically, all I can say is those movies that Keanu Reeves is in, the title, it seems to be a fabric within our structures that is still very prevalent, and it actually prevents anything beyond the established way of thinking from really coming forward unless it's going to be belittled or ridiculed. And anyway, the long and short of it is, where that took me in, first of all, was a place of disbelief. I was like, wow, I thought this was totally on and definitely happening. And then it was like, no, it's not. I was like, well, that's fine. I know I'm not attached to outcome. That's not a problem. But actually, when it sunk in, and it was actually something that my beloved, so my masculine, said to me that triggered my wound. And I'm saying this to you so you understand that the people around you that love you are going to actually help you to heal, all right? So that you can do the work that you are here to do. And basically what he said just made me feel like maybe I had done something wrong and I had caused this to happen. And it took me into a spiral of disappointment. Initially, I didn't feel anything. Now, normally I would have reached for something to numb out, but I didn't. I just felt my way through it, and I allowed myself to have the experience of, wow, here one minute, gone the next. It came out of nowhere and it got taken out of nowhere, right? It just got taken away. And what came from it was this tremendous sense of disappointment, because it felt like, I'd missed the boat, the ship had passed, etc. But where it really took me was into this idea that I had done something wrong. And this is the point about the wounded child. If you have watched the new moon co-creation and the energy update that was prior to this one, so the one for Libra, you'll know that we have been moving into neutrality, moving into divine balance of the masculine and the feminine within us, so that mum and dad within us have essentially grown up enough, matured enough to allow the divine child within us to create through the power of imagination. But if the divine child within us still has some core wounds, i.e., I'm not enough, I'm bad, there's something wrong with me, I'm not innocent. Think about how much shame has come through our religious dogma over all the generations, judgment, etc. We're going to have to love up that shadow before we can be fully seen. So it took me into this place of like, wow, I've caused this, which is an egocentric, this is what children think about it. Like young children, everything revolves around them. It's all me, 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 me. I've done everything. And it's like the universe does revolve around us to a degree, right? We all have a universe around us. The universe is inside of us. It is a vibration. We're having our own experience. And it was, in my childhood, I was told, oh, you're way too open. You hold your, you wear your heart on your sleeve. You must be, more hidden. People mustn't know all these things about you. It makes you too vulnerable. It makes you too exposed. think about it. Your parents are trying to protect you with this kind of messaging. So are your teachers, right? But if we are all divine children of the light and we are all innocent, then we just shine brightly. So in this experience, for me to really activate this divine spark in me and align fully with the most joyful, graceful, and easy way to share my message in the world, I have to know that if something doesn't go the way I want it to, it is for the highest good. And I immediately started to speak my light language and started to get the messages that came through. And essentially, I feel like I've had a really lucky escape, as I said to you a little earlier, because only your higher self would support you, right, to move through anything. If you have put your soul in control, you have surrendered to your higher self, something comes and then it gets taken away. That is to align you with something better, as the channeled message gave you. But also, it is important you do go through the wounding that comes up and you allow yourself to clear it, to heal it, to talk to yourself. So in my world, I know what is for me does not go past me. I cannot possibly fuck this up. These are my mantras, right? I am here and I'm always aligning with the highest good of all. Therefore, anything that happens in my life is always aligning with the highest good of all. So in the infinite wisdom of the divine within me, it's like, well, what else is possible? What good can come from this? How can I better align with the best way of sharing my message with the masses, with whoever is ready to receive this? And also a really good indicator of the fact that, you know, if there's going to be a lot of resistance to this message at this point, what is the way that it can really come through? So I'm sharing all of that with you as a personal story so you can actually work through your own challenges and allow yourselves to accept you are a miracle, you are the divine spark, and anything that isn't in resonance with what you put in motion when you say, I am a divine spark, is going to come up for you to witness, for you to love up, for you to realize there is a greater alignment. And, you know, don't play small, okay? Also remember, all that glitters is not gold. And there are many, many people who have got very good intentions, many souls who have ended up in the public eye, and then they basically have had their egos gratified so that they'll stay on a level and dilute their message. And this is really important. It is imperative we have discernment, accountability, transparency, integrity. Those are the first three pillars of the first triangle, all right, that is in our divine architecture, to then allow compassion, forgiveness, and discernment. All right, it's the bottom triangle that makes up the diamond after it's been a six-pointed star, for those of you who know what I'm talking about. So you have to be discerning as you move through the fourth dimension. It's not just about any opportunity for your message to get out there. It is what is the best way to get it out there. And if you've been doing the divine feminine work or following me around the divine feminine work I've been sharing, for us to really exalt the feminine and the masculine, we have to accept that the feminine has a lot of wounding, a lot of blind spots. We know the masculine does. We've been pointing them out forever, right? We know the patriarchal system issues. But what are the matriarchal system issues, sisters? Okay, it's wonderful that we're all gathering in ceremony and we're remembering again our magic, etc. We've all had some pretty awful stories occur. You know, if you've been burnt at the stake a few times and maybe hung, drawn, quartered, all the stories that have happened, you're going to be pretty keen to get your power back. I get that. But there is wounding in our feminine that we must address. And so it is very important we do that healing before we're really out there, okay? Because otherwise, all we're going to do is project what we haven't actually worked with yet. And that balance of the masculine and the feminine in terms of co-creation is being able to work with the heart and the mind so that they're not enemies, they're working together. So I want to take you back to a little bit about tomorrow. My multidimensional yoga is basically focused around, it's yoga with very beautiful therapeutic alignment. Whenever we do the full moon, we are full moon yoga. Whenever we're participating in full moon yoga, we are working gently. Okay, it's not about go, 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 go. This is about activating the feminine frequency, going deeper. The moon illuminates the shadow. Now, please don't feel I am worshipping the moon, because I am not. I feel this is something very important for us to understand, that in the matriarchal times when we were really connected to nature, and this is claircognizance from me, okay? This is a deep inner wisdom and knowing. The moon is not a natural part of our solar system. There's a lot written about this, and I actually rejected it first. I didn't believe it. Remember, the truth will set you free, as Infinite Waters Diving Deep says, but first it will piss you off. So, you know, for me, it was really like, all right, but I love the moon. I've been teaching fertility work forever and getting people to align with the cycle of the moon. What do you mean the moon is not a natural construct? It didn't sit well with me. But it is heavily influenced by Saturn, right? And time, therefore. So, you know, we've ended up in this lunar cycle for our fertility, our menstrual cycle, our pregnancies. And we've kind of forgotten the magic we had before, which was that we didn't need to bleed every month. We could conceive when we wanted to conceive. We didn't need to be stuck in this cycle of time, which is strongly linked to karma and repetitive cycles. So the way that I work with the moon is purely on the basis that with a new moon, you plant seeds. This is in our collective, right? It is in our collective that we believe that you plant seeds, new intentions with the new moon. Now, just like Mercury retrograde is in our collective consciousness that technology starts to play up, how much of it is at the planets? How much of it is our belief? We have to work with both, right? As above, so below. But none of us are like slaves to what's going on outside of us unless we choose to be. So claim your power back, sovereignty. You can't see this, but it says queen. I am a queen. You're a queen. You're a king. We have the divine sovereignty within all of us. You're welcome. And do your research. Look, I'm going to plant seeds. You go and research, okay? I cannot keep all the stats. I cannot keep all the studies in my head. There is so much coming through. Typically what happens for me is I'll get a download and then I will start to see evidence of that in whatever I'm researching and what people tell me. And this is confirmation for you. So very similarly to what I've been sharing in the story that I shared with you, I actually dreamt of a train station, right? That was an old style train station. And my husband and I were going to look at this piece of land with this old style train station on it because we were going to make it into some kind of retreat space. And as we actually went into the train station to look in, and he was measuring it all up, right? I started to get a really bad feeling about it. I was like, we need to get out of here now. And he was all like preoccupied. And I turned around to where the door was in my dream, and there was no door. It was concrete blocks. I had to literally command that those blocks, that wall disappeared. And I did. Okay. I had the power in me to command it with my fierce feminine power, Kali Durga power. That's why the Kali Kriya is so important. The wall disappeared and I was like, Ian, come now. So I was screaming out in my sleep all night. Later, we found out in the dream that it wasn't actually a train station. It was a prison. That was the prison on that piece of land. And basically, if I relate this to the situation that, you know, I've recently just been in, it's like a trap, right? It would not have allowed me to fulfill what I'm here to do. And here's the funny thing. I got that download come through for me, and I was sharing it with a friend of mine. And at the very same time, she was sending me a message back saying exactly the same thing. We were both sending voice messages to each other saying, this is what I'm intuiting. That's confirmation, my friends, that you are onto something. I've started to talk about something called Moses magic, which is when the seas part, you're aligned with something, everything opens up and aligns. So if there is an obstacle, if something comes into your way and it causes something to shift and things don't go the way you expect, do the cleanup job of dealing with your own emotions about it, love them up. You know, I teach these tools as part of my coaching. Please join the Fearless, Loved Up and Free to Be Me program, because it is amazing if you want to access all of these tools and learn how to use them. So you can live in a 5D consciousness in a third, fourth density third, fourth dimensional reality at the moment. It's really, you know, it's all here, right? But the moon thing, back to that, is new moons, seeds, full moons, all of the resistance, all of the subconscious stuff is going to come up. The lunacy, right? You know, the ghosts in the night, the things that are in your subconscious that scare you. That's why we do the energy upgrades and the energy healings, and we bring in the star codes. So If you're new to the yoga, as I said, it will be gentle. It's not going to be hard work. Obviously, be fit, be well. Like if you're injured, I would ask you to be someone to watch the yoga first, and always make sure you've got the support of your health professionals to make sure that you are safe to take part. But come and be part of it all, because even if you just roll your wrists a few times with me and you do the all fours work and you get your divine architecture online, and then you join in the co-creation energy healing and upgrade, you're going to have an amazing time. We have to do this regularly. It's not like once a year. Twice a month I'm giving you these codes, right, to support you. And then you've got yoga every week with me if you want to. Okay, so this is the sort of affordable option for everybody. If you want to do some higher end stuff, you want to go really deep, then get in touch and find out about the coaching through the breakthrough call. Right, let's see, have we got any questions? I've heard about the moon. I also feel the moon isn't natural. Cool. Remind me, I know who you are, Perfect Balance Health. I can't remember, is this just remind me of your name if you want to share it. It doesn't matter if you don't. I appreciate your privacy. But I want everyone to claim their sovereignty. So whilst you're here, I will put some links about the 12 chakra system in, because it's important. Like, this is what I integrate in the multidimensional yoga, is the 12 chakra system. If you're still working with 7 chakras in your yoga, you are stuck. Okay, you ain't gonna go anywhere with that. That is ancient, 5,000 years ago. Now the sages, the gurus, were teaching beyond 7 chakras, but it was done in such a way that it was one student at a time, guru to student. I am no guru. I am not taking that status. Okay, I'm here to transmit frequencies that people are ready for. And we have evolved a lot in this time. As I said, the 6 pillars that I've talked about: integrity, transparency, accountability, that keeps you in alignment, allows compassion, forgiveness, and discernment. These are so important to embody if you are a teacher of any form, a healer, a therapist, a yoga teacher, anything that you are doing that is transmitting codes to others. These are very, very important energies to bring in. Jackie, of course it's Jackie. Hello, darling. Ah, with the apple. That's rather fitting, isn't it? So there's also a sisterhood called the Global Sisterhood, who I highly recommend you check out. I think it's globalsisterhood.org. And they recently sent out an email, which I got in my inbox, which was about Eve being framed. So I was just thinking about the apple, Jackie, as you say that, because we've got a lot of duff programming that has been given to us about the feminine and the masculine. Gender war programming is in the collective. And last night I watched The Connected Universe. I just have to say I'm a huge fan of Nassim Haramein. I think his name is Haramein. I think that's right. Sorry if I got it wrong, Nassim. But this whole thing about coming forward and being able to prove something that's in established thinking is incorrect, it's out of date, and the establishment not wanting to hear it is standard. So I've been wondering for a while why it's been hard for my visibility to increase. But you know what? I've got some really frigging powerful codes running through me. And one of the things I've been told as I connect to my earth goddess energy, if you like, is that some of the knowledge and information I'm bringing through has never been shared on this planet before. So you can imagine that there might be a little special interest in me and keeping me invisible. Now, this isn't about an ego trip, my friends. Do you know how long it's taken me to go, who am I to say this? Do you know how much it can take for me to show up here and share some of this stuff? It's huge. So if you have fear, don't let fear stop you, but process it and show up. Remember to call in your higher self. Remember your divine architecture. And just remember you're meant to be here and the world needs you. So I hope to see you tomorrow. I love you so much. I love you so much. Sword of Truth. But I think this mudra here just helps keep fear at bay. So just send it back to sender. Return to sender. Any psychic attack, return to sender. Right hand. And ground deep. I love you. Take care. Namaste.